I have to be honest, the way this entire situation is being treated feels like a punchline to people who have no business laughing. Watching someone like Howard Lutnick smirk his way through questions about Jeffrey Epstein genuinely makes my stomach turn. This is the same man who publicly downplayed his connection, acting as if he barely had anything to do with Epstein. Then, under oath, he admits he went to the island. Not just once. He brought his children. He says they had lunch and left after an hour. Fine. That's his testimony. But what I cannot ignore is that every single time Epstein's name comes up, he grins like someone just told a joke. And I've seen it again. When Trump was asked about how to handle the Epstein fallout, Lutnick sat there chuckling, as if the entire matter is amusing. Maybe they think we're gullible. Maybe they assume this will just fade away. The boldness of it all, the casual dismissal, almost makes it feel like they're entertained by how obvious it is, and frankly, the way the FBI and DOJ have handled this. That part does feel like a joke. We spoke to a member of Congress who helped pass the Epstein Transparency Act. The agreement was simple. Release the files, redact only survivor identities. That was the promise. Instead, survivor names were left visible while alleged perpetrators remained blacked out. On top of that, victim attorneys sent the DOJ a list of names that should not be released. And somehow that very email ended up in the document dump. If you were trying to do the worst possible thing for survivors, that would be it. Then came the fully redacted co-conspirators file. After criticism that too much was hidden, officials claimed they would allow lawmakers to review the unredacted material. Sounds good, until those lawmakers arrived and discovered multiple layers of censorship, redactions underneath redactions. By the time they got access, they were looking at unredacted documents that were still covered up. 4 shared computers for 435 members of Congress. Search functions not working. Notes not allowed. That's not transparency. That's theater. At the same time, the FBI is developing advanced redaction technology capable of managing layered concealment. And yet, we're supposed to believe this is open disclosure. Then there's the larger claim that Epstein wasn't trafficking young women to powerful men. The FBI has again said there's no credible evidence of that. Yet public polling shows overwhelming belief that he did. There's a massive divide between what authorities say and what the public sees in the existing files, and if anything, the FBI would have access to more evidence than we do. When pressed directly, did Epstein traffic these girls to anyone besides himself? The answer given was essentially no. No credible information. None. But earlier, internal drafts reportedly referenced multiple potential co-conspirators. So which is it? No evidence at all? Or insufficient evidence to prosecute? Those are two completely different statements. What stunned me most is learning that the DOJ and FBI, who campaigned on releasing everything, have not met with several of the alleged victims who have repeatedly asked to testify. Some were minors at the time. They requested meetings. They offered evidence. They weren't interviewed. At one hearing, survivors in the room were asked to stand if they had not met with the DOJ. Every single one stood. Then they were asked how many had reached out to offer testimony. Again, every hand went up. I genuinely don't know how you explain that away. How do you conclude an investigation without speaking to the people who say they were victimized? And then we're told under oath that there is no credible evidence of trafficking to others, despite internal notes referencing accusations involving additional adult men. Not enough to charge federally? That's one thing. But saying there's nothing at all, that's something else entirely. Meanwhile, when reporters press the issue, they're mocked. One journalist asked about justice for survivors and was told, it's time to move on. Move on? From what exactly? Are we supposed to laugh along? Are we supposed to smile when discussing allegations of abuse? And I want to be clear. This is not partisan for me. The questioning has come from Republicans and Democrats alike. Yet anytime scrutiny is applied, the response shifts to talking points about stock markets and economic records. The Dow Jones has absolutely nothing to do with Epstein victims. At one point, when asked how many co-conspirators had been indicted, the answer pivoted to market performance numbers. I'm sorry, what does that have to do with anything? At the same time, new details continue surfacing. There are reports that Trump contacted Palm Beach authorities after Epstein's arrest years ago, reportedly urging action. That's notable. There are also resurfaced birthday book entries listing prominent names, which complicates ongoing legal disputes. There are emails between Epstein and powerful associates using coded or bizarre references, hidden camera purchases, motion-activated devices, even references to meetings in facilities typically associated with classified discussions. I'm not saying that proves government affiliation, but it raises questions, serious ones. There were even FOIA requests filed by Epstein himself seeking documentation of an alleged affiliation with intelligence agencies. The CIA neither confirmed nor denied records, citing classification exemptions. That alone doesn't prove anything, but it certainly doesn't calm concerns. All of this together creates one overwhelming impression for me. The people tasked with handling this appear detached from the gravity of it. They laugh, they deflect, they dodge. They suggest we should focus on something else. And I can't. Because when survivors are standing in a room, raising their hands to say no one has heard them, that's not something I can treat like background noise. This isn't about spectacle. It's about accountability. And the way this is being handled right now, it doesn't feel serious. It feels dismissive, and I don't think people are going to simply move on.